Today I'm going to tell you about some of the things I wish I knew before I started playing Clawhammer Banjo. I wish I'd have known all the different styles of Clawhammer style banjo. When you're starting out Clawhammer style banjo, you think, well, you just do the bum-diddy style and that's all that's out there, or that's what I want to play, and it's not. There's actually hundreds and hundreds of variations, which you can kind of break all the variations down into three specific categories, I feel like. Number one being melodic Clawhammer banjo, number two being the round peak style banjo, and then number three being the Clawhammer or bum-diddy style, I call it. You know, the bum-diddy, bum-diddy, bum. Where the round peak style, they play the core of the melody notes, I guess you could say, but they play it in a like an eighth rhythm to kind of keep up with the fiddle. The best I can explain it, I haven't done a whole lot of round peak, but that's the best I can feel. Melodic style, of course, if you know anything about banjo, the melodic style, it's more of playing not the same string twice and staying on the melody. The next thing I wish I'd have known is how long it was going to take to get just the standard old bum-diddy down. That stroke right there, I practiced that stroke for probably at least 6 or 8 months before I could even get it anywhere close to doing it regularly and doing it accurately. And that's the hard part about it. It's decently easy to get down. It's hard to get down when you get it accurately. If you're starting out playing the Clawhammer banjo, I highly recommend getting that down before you do much of anything else, because it's such a vital part of playing Clawhammer style banjo. You've got to get that strum down with your hand and your striking string, striking all the strings, you know. So you know which one you're hitting and when you're hitting it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first started, I played the 3-finger style banjo, and so when I was practicing my 3-finger style, when I decided to learn Clawhammer as well, I would just spend the last 30 minutes of each of my practice sessions doing the I'd sit and do that for 30 minutes, and I'd done that for probably a year before I moved on to anything else, and then I would move on to the drop thumb. The next thing I wish I would have known is, kind of going off the last one, is learning the drop thumb a lot earlier in the process. There's a lot of books that I've seen doing the Clawhammer style banjo that try to teach you how to play Clawhammer, but they don't really get into the drop thumb later on. And all the drop thumb is when you're you know, you hit the string, all you're doing is taking your thumb and dropping it down to, it don't matter which string. You're dropping it down to an inner string and plucking it, just like you would on the 5th string. So I wish that I would have started that a lot sooner and got it down a lot sooner as I was playing. Even if I didn't use it much, at least I have it down so when it was introduced, I didn't have to spend another 6 months getting used to doing the drop thumb on it. The next thing I wish I'd have known was the difference in terminology, how everybody uses it. There's a thing called drop thumb, and it's really confusing if you're looking for it on the internet or trying to find any information about drop thumb and the differences between the drop thumb and the double thumb. There's a major, not a major difference, but there's a difference between those two, and a lot of people explain them different. A lot of people say it's the same thing. The drop thumb is when you drop down to an inner string with your thumb. Right? And I guess you could say that is double thumb because you're hitting it after each strike. On the bum-diddy, you strike, strum, and then pull off with your thumb. Strike, then pull off. That's the bum-diddy. Bum-diddy. Well, the double thumb is pulling the thumb off after every strike of the string. So you could say that drop thumb is double thumbing as well, but that's not in my head. Like, it didn't make sense to me, double thumbing and drop thumbing being the same thing, because regular deal, double thumb. See what I'm saying? So even if you're going down to the inner string, it is a double thumb, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it. But I just know that the drop thumb, and when people talk about double thumbing, is different. All right, guys, the last thing that I want to share with you all that I wish I'd known when I started Clawhammer style banjo was, out of these 2 fingers, it doesn't matter which one you use to pluck the string. just whatever you're more comfortable with. Whether it's I know a ton of people I see play with their middle finger, and that's how they hit the strings, and I never could. I always hit them with my index finger, and that's what I play with, because it just seems more comfortable to me, and I can be more accurate with it than I can with my thumb. I'm sure if I practiced or started with my thumb, I'm sure I could grow into being accurate with it. I never did. I always played with my index finger, but it doesn't matter which one of these two fingers you play with. Just pick one that's the most comfortable to you and you can hit the strings with and be accurate with, and play with that one. Alright guys, this is the last thing, and this is kind of a bonus piece of advice on the Clawhammer style banjo. It has to do with the sound of the banjo. There's a lot of banjos out there that make a lot of different sounds for the clawhammer style, and you might want to listen to it if that's what you're into, is the clawhammer style. Listen to a lot of people and a lot of different instruments and find the sound that you like and figure out what banjo that coincides with. Now at first you may not be able to, like me, couldn't afford it at first, the banjo you actually wanted, because it's too expensive or it's out of your price range or whatever. But just have that in your mind to know later on, like when I can't afford it and I do want to upgrade to a banjo, these are my options that I want to go to because I like the sound of that.